Welcome back to Buggeray, and in this section we're back with another Angular tutorial. So here we'll be just building this testimonial cards using basic HTML, SCSS, and some TypeScript. So where I got some inspiration to creating these testimonial card is just from this webflow design that I got from Vado. Well, this video ain't sponsored, it's just something that I got while searching through the internet, and I was like, hey, let me create a video for some of y'all who might need their to implement like a testimonial card in their website. So please follow along in this video, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let's get to work. Right, so to begin with, we'll start off by going through the files that I've set up for you. So we've got this themes file right over here, and this themes.scss file. So what I've pre-set up for you over here is just these padding. Right, let me just comment that and say these padding, and then these are just the color codes, right? So this is what we have, and then besides that, and then we have our images here. These are the images that we're going to be using, right? All right, so first thing that we'd want to do is first create our folder, which is our components folder. So over here would come here. So before we create our components folder, let's check our apps.html. The only thing we have there is just this router outlet, right? So how we go about now creating a folder, this components folder, is we'll say new folder and then components folder in this apps. Then we also want to create another folder which is going to be our pages folder. So now, since we're going to be creating this testimonial cards, we'll make it a component. Then in our pages folder, we'll have this test component whereby we'll be rendering this test component we're doing, right? So what we'd like to do is first cd out and cd into our components, right? Then we run ng generate component, and this component will be called testimonial card, because we want to create a testimonial card, right? And then we'd also want to cd out of this, then cd in our pages folder, and then here in our pages folder we want to generate, so ng generate this component which is going to be our test components page, test page. Oh yeah, we'll just call it test page. Right, so now we've created this page which is our test page and our components page. So what we will do is just clear the terminal, right, and now ng serve our application. So now, since we're running our application, let's see what we have. So currently out here, this is what we have, but there's actually nothing showing here, right? So now let's go back here and actually go to our app routing to set up our route, so that as our application loads, we would want to set out our test page, right? So in order to do that, we would want to say this is the path to that is an empty path, and then we would want to say this is components, then we'll call this test page component, right? So now what this will do is, as it routes to this empty path, right, on our local host, right, it will then try to render this component which is our test page. So how we would go about viewing that is coming here. So we see that in our test page we have this test page works, right? So now let's go back, go in our test page, and we have this test page works, right? So now that's fine. Now let's go about clearing this up, because what we would want to do here is probably have a test container right here, and we'd want to render our app this testimonials card, right? The component that we'll be creating, which is the testimonial card, right? So after saving it, now it should say testimonial card works, right? So what we'll do, the next step is actually now creating our testimonial card. So how we go about doing this is clearing this page and creating a div which is called testimonial card. Then in this testimonial card, what we would want to have is this image, which is going to be like our profile, right? So we would want to have a profile section. The next thing that we would want to have is, after having this profile section, we would also want to have a body section, right? So in this body section, we could say this card / body, right? We can have that as that, and then we'd want to have a p tag that will display our lorem, maybe 20, right? I think 20 is fine. All right, so now since we have that text rendering out there, because first and foremost, what we would like to have, we'll first have this so-called profile, which will store our image, right? And then at the bottom of that we'll have like our ratings, and then below that we'll have this specific text that this person actually wrote, because this is a testimonial card, right? So we'll have the testimonial message, then the name of the person who actually wrote this testimonial, and then below that will maybe specify the company that they work at, right? So below this we'll say the name of this is actually Sibonelo, right? And then below that we'll have the company, which is Bagare. All right, so this is what we have, right? So here we would like to also render this image, an image from this our asset. So it's dot 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 / dot dot / dot dot, because we want to access our assets folder, and in our assets folder we'd probably want to say, okay, we'll just use Jeff Bezos for now, right? Then save that. Now let's see what we have. So this is what we have currently, right? So currently we would have this text that Jeff Bezos wrote, the name of that, which is Sibonelo, and the company below that, right? So now the next thing that we would want to also cater for is this rating section, right? So in our rating section we'd probably want to have like an image, right? So this image dot dot, this image will be rendering our rating star, right? So we'd probably say that, okay, maybe Jeff Bezos gave us a 5, right? 3, 4, 5, right? So now let's see what we have. All right, so we do have a card, but clearly now we see that this is not styled yet, right? Because it's not looking as great, right? So first thing that we would want to do is actually now go to our testimonials section and actually import the styles or themes, And then after importing the themes, we'll probably then just add CSS styling to this testimonial card. So what we'll do is come to this testimonial section, have an import. What we'll import is from a /source in our themes, and then themes.scss, right? So we'll have this testimonial card, right? Because we have this in this testimonial card. Let me just copy that to make sure that I've got the correct class. So we want to style this class. So what do we want to do? So probably here we'd want to say display this into flex. So what flex will do is actually display this in a single line, right? So if we were to check now, we have it in this orientation, right? How these images and text are displayed, right? So how to go about fixing that, we would want to say make the flex direction and change that to column, right? So by changing the flex direction to column, it will actually fix it, right, to display our content in a vertical axis, right? So with that being done, then our next thing will probably saying that, okay, now we want to target our profile. But in our profile, we'd want to now change the width of the image to 120 pixels, right? And the height of the image to 120 pixels, right? So now that we've changed the width and the height to 120 pixel, right? Now we've got like nice square to it, right? But now what we wanted to do with this is actually now to change this image to a circle, right? So now let's go back. Did we save this? We didn't save this, so it didn't apply that styling. Let's check now. Let's go back. This is profile. So it was testimonial card profile. I think 120. That's width and height. So let's just see if we add our border radius of 50% to change this to a circle. Let's see if that applied to that style. So what happened? So control that, and now let's go back, open this, right? So in this we have this, right? And then we've got this profile. Oh, what we didn't do is actually target that we want to apply the styling to our image. So how we go about that is by that. Now let's see. Now this is a nice circle, right? So what we'll also want to add into this is a border to it, right? We'll probably say the border is 2 pixels. The width of the border is 2 pixels. We want to make it solid, and our color would probably be secondary white, if not mistaken. Let's check in our themes .scss, right? So we want to apply this secondary white color to it, right? So let's copy this, come here, and actually paste this here, right? So now we have changed like the image, right? For now, I don't think you'll necessarily see actually what's happening on that image, like, but it does have a border radius there. So another thing that we'd want to then do apply stylings to is actually now fixing our rating section. So in our rating section class, what we want to change there is actually now the image, right? We want to change the size of those image because they're too big, right? So we'll target this image, set the width to 20 pixels and the height to 20 pixels, So save that. Now let's see. So now we have that. I think 20 pixels will do the trick for us, right? Now we've got this nice looking rating star, right? So now the next thing that we would want to then change over here is now actually seeing our border, right? So how we can go about doing that is actually adding a box sizing, right? Box size, box shadow, I meant to say. This is a box shadow of 0 pixels, 4 pixels, and 4 pixels. RGBA 0, 0, 0, and then 0.25. Let's see what we have now, right? So if we go to the side, now we can see this card of ours, right? But now we see that this card is not quite nice, right? So what we'd want to do first is actually set a padding to this, right? So we'll set our padding to be the top part will be probably 70 pixels, down at 30 pixels, and then we'll apply 35 pixels for the left and right, right? Then if we save this and go here, now we see that we've got like a nice looking card, but this card is just a bit bigger. Well, let me add a margin top, so you can actually see this card, right? So I'll just add 50 pixels for now, right? Because I want you to see this card, right, properly, right? So this card now is placed here at the bottom. So first thing that we'll also want to add is this color to this card, right? So how we go about doing that is adding a background color, and then we'll call this color gray. Gray color. Is this our color that we want to add? No. Think it's called, yeah, it is gray color. So what's happening? Let's copy this and we would want to say background equals to this gray. What's going on now? Gray color, right? So question now is, why isn't it applying this grayish color? All right, so let's see. No, this is not the color we want. Oh, my bad. This is the color we want to apply, right? So the secondary color. So if we change this to the secondary color, no, secondary color, right? This is what we want, right? So now we see that now we've got like some color to this actual card, which is a testimonial card, right, that we're creating. So now next thing is us going about changing our text, right? But first and foremost, what we'd want to do is actually set this class, right, to say person text. This is the person text, and then this other class will be class, and then we'll also call this company text, right? All right, so save that. I think the name is fine. So what we'll do is actually now apply to our p tags, not actually our p tags, but like the color that we're using, right? And this, so we'll just use this white color. So what this will do is apply, so for all text in this div, right, will apply this white color to it, right? So as you can see. But now what we want to do is for our person text, right, text, we want to apply a color which is now our gray color. Let's see, gray color. This is the color we want to use. So yeah, person text, and where's another person text? Oh, person text and company text. So we said person text and company text, and they are both classes. So since they are both classes, they will then since I've included both of these classes, right, both of them will apply the same color to their text, right? So now let's view it. So now we see that this company color and this person's text color is now the same, right? But still what we have over here is not yet properly done. So how we would go about now fixing it is we want to have this image, right, displayed a bit like above this card over here, right? And then we want to fix like the border radius of this actual card, right? So how we'd go about doing that is firstly by adding a border radius. So for the border radius, we'll probably say something like 20 pixels, right? So that would be 20 pixels for the border radius. And then for the profile, we would want to set this profile's position, right? Want to set the profile's position to absolute, right? So now what we have is this, right? But we want to also ensure that we have, like, for the parents component, we make its position to relative, so that even if it's absolute, right? Let me take this for instance. Let's go back. Right, this is absolute, and then we'd want to say top. What is this? If we say set top to 0%, let's see what we'd have. So if we set top to 0%, well, this is working. This is working, but now at this rate, this actual top is not actually this is because now this card is margined to 50, but now this top and this absolute now is setting actually this image to the top of the actual screen, or should I say the DOM, right? So it's actually rendering at the top of the page. Sorry for that. So how we can go about fixing this issue is actually setting the parent's position, right, to relative. So when we set the parent's position to relative and then actually setting the child's component's position to absolute, what we're saying to the DOM is that actually make this specific class or div, right, it's position to absolute, but if you set top to 0, it should be at the top of actually the parents component. I don't know if I'm making sense, right? So now what we will see over here is that now it's not floating outside of this div, but it's actually setting its top to the top of this parents component, right? Okay, so now what we want to do is actually now set it slightly above this parent component. So what we will do is say minus, we want to set it to minus 50%. So minus 50% is there. Oh, okay. I think it's, let's try 25%. Yeah, think minus 25% is fine. And then what we would want to do, we'd also want to center it to the middle. So how we'd go about centering this thing to the middle, I meant to say, is setting the left to 50%. Want to set the left to 50%. Well, one would think that this would already have solved the problem, right? But now we see that this is not quite in the middle, right? Because now it's setting this portion to 50%. And now then this side over here is actually now causing it not to be necessarily be in the middle. So the trick to it, to actually fix this, is actually by coming here and setting like this transform translate x-axis to minus 50%. So this will say, okay, now shift it back 50%. So now this will then automatically just set it to the middle. Right. Now let's see. Let's put it on the test. Did I even save this? I think I did. Yeah, I think I did. Right, so this on its own would have now actually fixed our issue, right? So now, since we have this now working, what we will then want to do is actually now actually what we want to do right now is actually to test if this actual card is actually maybe 100, its width is 100 divided by 3, right? So how we go about testing that out is like setting this width, and then we'll calculate this width to be 100% divided by 3, right? Let's see what we have by that, right? So now we see that if we make this card this small, then it's actually looking nice. It's actually a good card, and it's really looking nice, right? But now there's still fixes to this, right? So now what we'd want to do is actually set this text to the center, right? But now we'd want to add margin to this, right? Oh, we did add padding to this, so I think this is fine. So what we'd want to do right now is actually set like the text alignment to center, so that every text, right, that comes in is centered, not left aligned, right? We would also want to take this oak over here and center it at the middle, right? And then the next thing that we would also want to do is take this name, right, put it here at the middle together with this actual company name, and put it here at the middle again, right? So that's what we want to achieve now, right? So what do we want to start with? Let me think. Let's set what can we start with? Let's just start with the ratings. So with that one, we can just display this. Let's see. Let's say text align to center. I want to see something. If we text align that to the center, then it would have fixed our issue, right? So, and then another thing that we'd want to do is actually set a margin right. So margin right, we'd want to set a margin right to like 5 pixels, right? So now let's see, right? So this will like spread these rating stars, like, you know. But now the issue is, if we're setting like the margin right to like 5 pixels, now the issue comes with, now it's setting 5 pixels for all these rating stars. So even this last one will apply a 5 pixels margin to the right, which we just don't necessarily need. So how to go about fixing that is actually coming here and saying that, but now wait, we want to say for the last child, right, we don't want to set the margin right. So the margin right for that would probably be 0 pixels, right? So now that's fine. So now if we go about checking it out, right, it's just okay. And then what we would want to do is, if you want to see what I was doing, we can inspect this element, right? So if we come here, right, this will say that's 5 5 5 5 5 5 5 5. But now we see that this last element, right, it didn't actually necessarily set that to the spacing to it. Let's see how can we go about fixing this guy. So think we need to use an and, right? An and here, and then save this, right? So now if we go about inspecting, yeah, so now it's 5 5 5 pixels, but now this last child is not applying this actual margin right, which is that 5 pixels, right? So now we also want to do what we also want to do is now set this text, right? This body text. So how we can go about doing that is actually saying that for the card body, right? For this card's body, what we actually want to do is say for the p tag, right, we want to set this width, the width of that to fit content, right? Because we want our p tags to actually take the width of our p tags to actually fit the content that we have, right? Then the next thing that we want to do is actually set the text alignment to center. So if we set the text alignment to center, it will actually like change how the text is rendered, right? So now instead of it being left aligned, now you can see that all our text is just here in the center. So if we expand that, now we see that this would have worked for us, right? So that's fine. And then now the next thing that we'd want to change is actually now changing this text for the person's text, and that so person's text and the company text. So we'd want to say for these two oaks over here, we'd want to set the width of them to like fit content, and then we want to set its margin to auto. So if we margin it to auto, it will then center these both of these text, right? It will put them to the center. So let's now see what we have. Nice. So we see that this thing is just centering this guy, but not this guy. So let's inspect and see why that is. We want to inspect and see why that is the case, right? So as we can see over here, it didn't actually apply any styles to that. So this is in this guy, and there's a p tag to it, and this company, right? Company text. So now let's go back to this. We wanna come here. So this was card body. This was card body. So this was the card body. Card body, and then why didn't that one work? Let's copy this, cut this out, and let's paste this here. Just want to see why it didn't work. So if we set the margin to 0 pixels, let's see what happens. Is this actually a p tag? Well, this is a p tag, right? Oh, so what this is doing is it's not setting its margin to auto. So what we needed to do is actually to set the margin to auto. So when we're setting this margin to auto, what it would tell it is that now just center this text, right? So now all of those texts are now centered. So now the next thing that we'd want to then do is actually now give it some spacing. So we'd want to say for all these p tags, set the margin top to like main padding. So this will set 16 pixels, right? So now let's come here. Is it? Let's see now, themes.scss main padding, right? Main. Oh, but now this is just setting that to that, right? And then even here we would want to do the same thing. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me just tried copying and pasting. So margin top, we want to set this margin top to 16 pixels. So how we do that is main padding, right? Now let's see. So now it puts some bit of some spacing for everyone over here. So this is fine. I guess this is just nicely done, right? So then another thing that we would want to do is actually now paste other cards and actually see if this is working, right? But now the issue that we have is we don't actually necessarily want to set the width over here in this component. What we would want to do is actually set a width of this components to the parent div, right? So how we go about doing that is removing this, then this will display it like to the full screen, right? And then what we'd want to do is come to this test page component, right? So we go to this test page component, then here in this SCSS we'll say test, then container, right? And then we'd want to say for everything, I think, and then we want to set the width to calc. I'll see. Let's see if that one will work. So 100% minus let's see, 10 pixels, 25 pixels. Is that even gonna work? Let me see. I've never tried this one. 25 pixels divided by 3. Nah, that one doesn't work. So 100% minus 25 pixels, minus 5% divided by 3. Does that even work? Oh, 100 minus 5%. Whoa, what's going on? You see why I don't like using this. So let's just say 98% divided by 3. Okay, now did this even work? Okay, let's see if this would work. Just trying it out. Guess that's not working. So everything else, what I was trying to do is saying that all these child components just set that to that. But another alternative will trying to set it to card, right? We would want to set this to card. Let's see if this will work. Card, and then let's see, did this even work? Card, no, this didn't work. So there are many ways to kill a cat. So how we then go about it now is actually setting divs to sort that one out. So if you have a better solution to this, you can just place that in the comment section, right? So let's cut this, paste it here, and then copy this guy, right there, right, and then we'll set this to card. That was the card, and then we'll just do that. Yeah, now let's see. Yeah, now this is working, right? So what we want to do is now say that this is display this to flex. Now, but we don't want to set this to that because we would want to have like a testimonial. Testimonial section, because we want to have this testimonial section where we're actually going to be rendering this, right? So we want to have this testimonial section where we be rendering this. So when we come over here, we will see this is the testimonial section, right? So this testimonial section, and then cut this, put it here, right? And then come over here, and then what we want to do is now display this, right? Display this to flex. Remember what we said, flex will actually now, yeah, do that. And then the next thing is actually now saying flex wrap. Want to wrap this to wrap, and then justify content to space between. We want to say space between, right? Then that will give it like equal space between, right? But another thing that we would then want to do is actually set like a padding to this outer container, right? So what we do is actually say padding, right? And we want to set the top and bottom padding to be like 50% and left and right to be 10 pixels. Let's see, 10 pixels and 50 pixels. Now we see that we've got this nice looking cards, right? But now we've got, okay, Jeff Bezos is there, and right, but let's just say for instance we just wanted to now render like some different like so that the data looks like sort of real, as in like these were actual people who are actually writing their testimonial, right? So how we'd go about doing this is actually coming here to this test page, right? Well, this is not the best way to do it, but you probably have an API that's just pulling that data. But what we'll do is actually have this testimonials object, right? Testimonials array object, testimonial array. And this testimonial array will have our image, right? And then we'll have our name of this, so Jeff Bezos. Bezos. So this is Jeff Bezos. And then we'll have the message, right? And then this message will be, you are doing a great job, Mr. Bug Array, right? You're doing a great job, Mr. Bug Array, right? So this is Jeff Bezos and his company. The company is name of the company's Amazon. Amazon, right? So that's the name of the company. So then the image to that will be this guy over here. So so we need to follow this pattern over here, right? Got Jeff Bezos, right? So we'll have this guy over here, and then remove this. We would want to then copy this object again. So we copy this, come here, over here, split it with commas, then paste this, split, then paste it again, right? So over here would have mark Zek. Yeah, mark Zek, and then the next one will be Elon Musk, right? I have implemented your ideas to Tesla. So this will be from Tesla, right? So this is from Facebook or metadata, whichever one you want. So Mr. Bug Array is great at what he does on his YouTube channel, right? So Mark Zuckerberg, right? Now what we want to do is now have this guy over here be Jeff Bezos. This is Mark. I think this is just Mark Z, right? And then this guy over here would be, so this is Mark Z and this is Elon Musk, right? We've got now Elon Musk, that, and that, right? So now we'd want to then come here and actually display these dynamically. So how we would do that is actually have an ng4, right? So as we have this ng4, we say let test, which is this testimonial array, right? Let's test of this testimonials array, right? And then what we want to pass in here is this testimonial, right? Testimonial, yeah, right? And this testimonial will take this test. So this testimonial will come in as like some sort of like an input, right? So currently we've got errors, but we'll fix that. So this testimonial will go into this component as an input, right? So what we need to do is now create this input so that we can pass data from the parent component. We can pass data from the parent component to the child component, right? So this input will be called testimonial, right? And this will be of type any, right? This will be of type any. And then now we would want to copy this guy over here. Okay, save this, copy that, and then over here we would want to then now do a small thing here and say this is from the testimonial. We want to get the name, right? From the testimonial we want to get the company, right? And then from the testimonial over here, so from the testimonial over here, we would wanna get the image, right? I don't know if that's gonna work. And then here we would wanna get the message. Let's see. This is a lot. And there you go. So from this guy over here, from testimonial, we want this message, right? And then yeah, so let's just now see if this is working. So yeah, So this actually does work. So we've got now these different cards showing that we've got Elon Musk, what's this? Jeff Bezos over here, Mark Zuck, and Elon Musk, right? So now let's see if we just go about inspecting this and actually doing that, right? Well, that's nice. That's nice. We still have our cards set up properly, right? So another thing that we would like necessarily want to do over there is actually okay, let's just remove this. That's fine. So what we'd want to do is actually say let's see, want to set a bit of some margin, right, to have some spacing between the actual icon and this, right? And then yeah, the rest is just fine, I guess. So how we can go about doing that is coming here to this testimonial, going to the rating section. Well, we can change this to display flex, right? And then just say justify, no, not, yeah, justify content to center, center, right? And that will still have our ratings fine. Let's see if I didn't break stuff. Okay, yeah, that's fine, right? But now we'd want to set the margin top, right, to this main padding, right? So now it will give it like some bit of some space between the actual image and this. So yeah, with that all being said, guys, please don't forget to hit the like button, share, and subscribe. And stay tuned for more content. Yeah, that's just me. Peace.